Authentic leadership. You've probably heard that term thrown around a lot, right? It's become a major buzzword in the business world. But what does it actually mean to be an authentic leader, especially today? So let's dig in and unpack what it really takes to lead authentically in this constantly changing world.
I mean, just think about it for a second. We've got AI and social media completely reshaping how we work and live. We've got all this social and economic uncertainty. The old top-down models of leadership, they're just not cutting it anymore. So what does it take to actually guide a team and inspire confidence when the ground is literally shifting under your feet?
You know, a huge part of this is that there's been a real crisis of trust. After years of seeing corporate scandals in the headlines, people are just tired of the polished, perfect soundbite executive. There's this massive hunger now for leaders who are transparent, ethical, and, well, human. This isn't just a nice to have anymore, it's a full-on demand. Okay, so let's get past the buzzword. Let's define what we're actually talking about when we say authentic leadership. What's at the heart of it? At its core, it's a way of leading that's really built on three key things: being genuine, having deep self-awareness, and acting with total ethical integrity. It's all about leading from a place of deeply held personal values and conviction. The leadership expert Bill George, who used to be the CEO of Medtronic, actually broke this down into 5 key traits. We're talking about leaders who are driven by a purpose they truly care about. They don't just talk about their values, they live them, especially when things get tough. They lead with heart, not just their head. They build real, meaningful connections with people, and they have the self-discipline to see things through. But here's the thing. These traits don't just magically appear. So where does this kind of leadership really come from? I think the answer might surprise you. This quote from the Harvard Business Review just nails it. Researchers analyzed thousands of pages of interviews with leaders, and what they found was that authentic leadership isn't something you're born with. No, it's something that is forged in the fire of your own life experiences. Let's look at the story of Daniel Vasella, the former CEO of Novartis. His childhood was marked by some really tough stuff: illness, being sent away alone, incredible loss. But there was this one moment, a single act of compassion from a doctor during a painful procedure that changed his entire outlook. That experience became the bedrock of his leadership. He literally turned his personal pain into a powerful purpose to build a healthcare company, Novartis, that was centered on both compassion and competence. And that company went on to impact millions of lives. And this all brings us to such a critical point. When leaders at Stanford's Graduate School of Business were asked to name the single most important capability for a leader to develop, the answer was almost unanimous: self-awareness. It's that ability to really look at your own story, your hardships, your wins, and understand how it all shaped you. That's the source code of authenticity. Okay, so we know what it is, we know where it comes from, but so what? Why does it actually matter for a business? What are the real tangible benefits of having an authentic leader running the show? Well, the impact is profound. When leaders are genuine, it builds trust. And that trust creates what we call psychological safety, that feeling that you can speak your mind or take a smart risk without fear. That safety then fuels higher engagement and keeps your best people around. It makes everything more collaborative and connects the entire team to a purpose that feels real. And that right there is a powerful engine for success. For a knockout, real-world example, you have to look at Anne Mulcahy at Xerox. The company was on the brink of bankruptcy, staring down a staggering $18 billion in debt. Mulcahy, who'd been at the company for 25 years, stepped up. She didn't have a background in finance, but she had something way more valuable: credibility. People knew her, they knew she was authentic, they trusted her. And that trust gave her team the power to pull off the impossible, paying back over $10 billion in debt and literally saving the company. Now, this all sounds great, right? Be yourself, be vulnerable, lead from your heart. But this is where it gets a little more complicated. Because there's a paradox at the heart of authentic leadership. Is simply being yourself always the best move? This really brings us to 2 competing ideas of the self. On one side, you have the authentic self. This idea that your leadership should come from your fixed core identity. Just be you. But on the other side, there's this idea of the augmented self, the belief that great leadership is about adapting, growing, and becoming the leader your team actually needs you to be. Business psychologist Thomas Chamorro Prumazic has a pretty provocative take on this. He flat out says that the best leaders are rarely just being themselves. Whoa. Instead, they are actively managing how they show up. So, what does that even mean? He makes this really cool comparison. Great leaders are like great actors. Think about it. Meryl Streep is an amazing actor, not because she's just being Meryl Streep in every movie, but because she can completely transform into the character the story needs. In the same way, great leaders develop a whole range of behaviors. They learn to adapt their style to whatever the situation calls for, whether they need to be tough or empathetic or visionary, all without coming across as phony. See, it's not about being fake, it's about having the range to be effective.
So this leaves us with a really fundamental question for anyone who leads. Is your goal to rigidly be yourself no matter what? Or is it to consciously and skillfully become the leader that your team, right here and right now, truly needs? Navigating that tension, knowing who you are at your core while also adapting to the moment, that right there is the true art of authentic leadership.